What are we doing if we ain't moving? Hey.
Ooh, I just sipped on the tea string. Ooh, that was such a weird feeling. Ooh, I don't like that. Good morning, you guys. Welcome to Beanie Talks. One of the things I have missed so much is coffee dates with people. And you don't even have to drink coffee to go on a coffee date. You just have to it's just the atmosphere. It's just like sitting down with people and talking about life. And so I thought it would be fun to go on a coffee date with you this morning. So pause this video if you don't already have something to drink and go get some coffee or water or your Rebel or whatever it is that you want to drink this morning. And come meet me back here and we can go on a little date together. So see you in a second. Welcome back. I hope you found something delicious to drink. My drink of choice this morning is tea. So cheers. Cheers to a great Sunday. All right. So every coffee date typically starts with the same question. How are you doing? And that question is fine, but I want to ask you 3 questions that are a little bit more specific. And I want you to just answer in your head, just how you're feeling today in this moment. So first question is, how are you doing physically? How's your body feel today? Do you feel super energized and healthy and strong today? Or do you feel like you have a lack of energy, or you might feel a little sick today or a little lazy? How are you doing today? How does your body feel today? Question number 2 is, how are you doing mentally? What's something that's been on your mind lately? Have your thoughts been mostly positive thoughts, or have they been mostly negative thoughts? What have your thoughts been like about the future? Are you filled with hope when you think about the future, or do you have more anxiety when it comes to the future? How are you doing mentally? And question number 3 is, how are you doing emotionally? How are your emotions today? What emotions have you felt since you woke up this morning? Do you feel like over the course of a day your emotions stay really steady, or do you feel like they're all over the place? How are you doing emotionally? See, we have experienced so many emotions this past year. It's insane. And not just this year, but every day seems to be like a roller coaster of emotions sometimes. But one thing that I'm learning is that God created us to experience all the emotions. See, He didn't design us just to experience one. And what makes us human is actually our ability to feel. Imagine if you could only feel one emotion all the time. Say you were excited all the time. You would be so exhausted if that's all that you felt. See, God designed us to experience a whole range of emotion, everything from the good to the ugly to the bad to the sad to the fantastic. So we were supposed to feel all the emotions. But when we have more difficult emotions, it can sometimes mean that they're more difficult to deal with and cope with. For me, some of my more difficult emotions this year have had to do with my family. There's been a lot of things changing in my family this year. Same with my friends. Lots of relationships with my friends have changed this past year, and I even had to miss out on being there for my best friend's wedding, and that's the most special day in her entire life, and I had to miss it, and that sucks, and I don't like to think about it. So there's so many difficult emotions that we experience, and those are just 2 out of the many emotions I felt this year. When it comes to difficult emotions though, my main coping strategy is distraction. So what can I use to take my mind off of this? For me, TikTok is such a great distraction, right? You can learn so many things on there, and it's so entertaining. Another one is binge watching Netflix series. Also a fantastic distraction. Same with Instagram and any social media platform. All my ladies out there, if you've ever been on the Shein website, fantastic distraction as well. You literally can shop for hundreds, if not thousands of clothing items that are all $5, and you can spend hours on that site. For some of you, it might be video games. Maybe that's kind of your escape. And sometimes that can be really good and healthy for you to kind of get out of your reality for a little bit. But Sometimes these things can turn into huge distractions from us, keeping us from growing and processing our emotions. And here's what's so cool and what I love about the Bible is no matter what we are going through, there is something in the Bible that's going to teach us something. See, the Bible is so relevant for us today. And did you know that there is an entire book of the Bible that's actually devoted to emotion? It's called Lamentations. And Lamentations, if you take the first word in Lamentations, it's lament. And lament means to have an expression of sorrow or grief, or lament almost means like hurting or sadness. And so there's a whole book of the Bible that's devoted to sadness and coping with our difficult emotions. Now, there's a beautiful verse that I think encapsulates how we should be coping with our emotions, and I want to read it to you today. So it's Lamentations 3:19 through 23, and it says this: "The thought of my suffering and homelessness is bitter beyond words. I will never forget this awful time as I grieve over my loss. Yet I still dare to hope when I remember this. The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning." See, the writer of Lamentations was Jeremiah, and I think he demonstrates so well how to cope with difficult emotions. See, in his most difficult emotions, homelessness, loss, pain, he's still speaking truth over himself. He speaks truth out loud. And the thing is, he didn't ignore his emotions. He gives us almost like these two steps. First one is to lament. So to fully feel your emotions, to express them, to say them out loud, to give them to God, do what you need to do to get them out. And then second is to speak truth, to find the hope in your situation. See, for lamenting, sometimes all we need to do is just cry it out. There has been times in my life when I have just built up so much emotion that I end up crying and like bawling my eyes out. But as soon as I'm done crying, it's like released. Like I feel so much better about whatever was going on because I was able to have my mind and my heart and my emotions, my physical response, they all matched. So the sadness that I was feeling or the pain I was feeling matched my physical response, which is actually a very healthy thing. So some of us just need to cry it out. Some of you, like me, need to take your anger and your frustration and go to the middle of nowhere and just scream your head off. I would love to do that. If anyone's down to go do that with me, let's go. Because sometimes you literally just need to yell it out because that like anger and frustration needs to match your physical response, and it's good to restrain them, especially inside your home or in a public setting. But when you have the chance to, maybe for you it might be like physical activity, maybe you need to just go run or punch a punching bag or whatever, or you might just need to scream. See, our physical response, when it matches our emotions inside, that can be very healthy for us. It's like a release. For some of you, it might also be writing things down. Maybe you just need to put pen to paper and write out what you're feeling and write out your emotions. Maybe that's where you find your most clarity, and by the end of just putting it all out, you can finally breathe again. So our first step when it comes to emotions is to fully feel them, to actually lament. And number 2 is to find the hope. So in the middle of our situation, we need to find God's truth in it. And the thing is, it's never not going to be there. We can always find it, but sometimes it can be like searching for treasure. It can be really difficult, but always worth it. So some of you might need to just be speaking truth, things like, God loves me. God loves me. God actually cares about what I'm going through. God sees me. God really absolutely adores me. I am so worthy. God still has great plans for me. See, those are things that we need to be speaking over our situations. And it makes me think of this one song called Through and Through, and it's by United Pursuit. And one of the lyrics, it says, "You see me and you know me and you love me through and through." And it makes me think about how God, in through everything that we're going through, doesn't matter what the situation is, we're seen and we're loved by God. And that is such a comforting truth that we have to keep reminding ourselves about. So if you feel stuck, if your emotions have bottled up, let's deal with those. Let's do something this week that's going to help us process and grow. See, when we feel stuck, the best thing to do is to heal from our emotions. So in order to grow, in order to move forward, we have to heal. And if I might go a little bit further, to heal, we have to be able to feel. And so let's take time this week. I challenge you to find time in your calendar somewhere to just sit in silence or be in God's presence, or do one of the things that I told you earlier, like writing stuff down, or going for a run, or whatever it is that you need to do. Cry. Let's feel our emotions this week. And let's bring them to God and see what He has to say about them, because He's always going to speak the truth over us if we can't do it for ourselves. And sometimes it takes practice. It's like training. We have to train ourselves how to speak truth when it's the most difficult. See, when we don't deal with our emotions as they come up, we bottle them inside, we become like volcanoes ready to erupt at any moment. Our tempers are short, we're quick to judge, we're quick to give in to negative self-talk. We're so quick to give into the negative side when we bottle everything up. We're literally gonna erupt on people, and that's not something healthy. But what is healthy is experiencing your emotions as they arise and dealing with them and processing them as they come up. And so it also reminds me of this verse. It's in John 15, and it says, "Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, He takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit." So it really means that when we come to God with our life, when we bring everything onto the table, God will help us grow. And sometimes that requires just completely getting rid of the bad stuff. He prunes us. He removes things that shouldn't be there. He refines us so that we can grow and move forward. See, God is so good. He wants us to be our most healthy self. And that means caring about our emotions and helping us deal with them. And that's God's role in our life. It's not His only role, but it's one of the amazing blessings that we get when we have a relationship with Jesus. So I challenge you this week, find time to go and process emotions that you might have been putting off for a while. Some of you might just need to grieve over the loss of your high school years. I know that's so difficult for you guys, that you guys are experiencing a whole different type of high school experience, but you might just need to grieve over it. You might need to just cry about it. But I encourage you, find the hope. Find inside of this difficult situation that you're in, whether it's you need to grieve over school or family situation or future things or expectations that were let down. Feel them and then speak the hope, okay? Speak what's true. Find what's positive, what God still has in store for you, because it's always going to be there. So I love you guys. I hope you have fantastic weeks. And as always, be the church. Peace. See you guys next week.